Hey all, Pixel here, Improbable Garage, and I bought another vehicle. Yeah, this is actually intended as the replacement for the wagon, though if you paid attention to that pan, you can tell where during the wagon videos this was filmed, because this came up super cheap. So I bought this. This is the cheapest running, driving, not salvage titled Nissan Cube on Craigslist. By a pretty good chunk too. It's surprising people want like a couple grand for these with bad transmissions. It's really weird. It's a 2009. It's the base model with the manual transmission. I wanted the manual, not the CVT, which is part of why I snapped this up. It's one of only 2 running driving manuals I've seen for sale. Got it for $2,500, which is a steal. Little old man car, literally. He bought it in 2018 with 130,000 miles on it. It has 142,000 miles on it now in 2013. And the engine has about 70,000 miles on it, because apparently he hit a pothole so hard he ripped the oil pan open and they put a lower mileage engine in it. Dents, stings, scrapes, all the stuff you expect from buying a car from an old person. But overall, really good shape. I looked underneath, there's no major rot. There's one little tiny spot of rust here, but overall, you know, perfectly acceptable. And the interior on it is in pretty good shape. The driver's seat has a little tear here, which they seem to all have, and the seat feels weird. I don't know if it's the person who drove it for most of the mileage wore it out in a weird way, or if the back, this piece feels wrong. So I don't know, maybe this got bent at some point. I don't know, but the front seat's weird, but that's not that big a deal. The steering wheel is gross. But yeah, 142,000 miles on it. Needs a thorough cleaning inside and out. It's the base model, but the base model includes CD radio, AC, power windows, door locks, 6-speaker system. So I ain't suffering here. 6-speed manual. I drove this thing home and it works fine, but 6 gear is kind of weird. One, you have to like really shove it over and down to get it into 6. So I did a couple 5 to 4 shifts by accident. And 6 isn't that great a gear, like 3,000 RPMs at 70 miles per hour. I wished it was a higher highway gear, but that's okay. And it has a reverse lockout, which is weird. You have to pull this ring up to go over and into reverse. Otherwise, you can't get it into reverse. You can just get it into first. I haven't seen a reverse lockout in a while. Back here, cargo space. It came with 3 additional hubcaps of the no brand kind, because I needed 1 and apparently it's cheaper to buy 4. This is the battery hold down. I have to put back in a Mercedes first aid kit and something labeled as a jack, but I don't. Oh, it's a mini jack. Apparently I have a mini jack and a Mercedes first aid kit, so that's interesting. Yeah, it's wet under here. This is soppingly wet, but I suspect at least part of that is just this crap. It's collected is probably keeping it from draining properly. So, but I'm gonna have to look into where that moisture is coming from, but it's not rusted there, it's just wet. These are prone to problems with this rear latch where they will lock them. The doors lock every time you get over a certain mile per hour. And these are prone to a problem where the rear latch will lock and not unlock, and then you can't get the door open without destroying it. So I think my plan is going to be to, for right now, because it was acting a little bit weird, I'm going to unplug that for now and then deal with it at a future time, just so I don't screw myself over. This is actually the first time I'm seeing this thing in the sunlight, because I looked at it in the rain and then I picked it up at night in the rain, and it hasn't been driven for long enough that the battery was basically dead. The guy jumped it, and then it would start again when we were test driving it, but then like it didn't really want to start a second time. So when I picked it up in that, I literally drove straight to Walmart, ripped the battery out of it, walked into Walmart with it, came out with a good battery, and stuffed it in. The battery hold down I didn't put back on because it's pouring rain at night in a Walmart parking lot. Fuck it, absolute minimum to get it fixed and working so that I can get back inside where it's dry. But it drove fine. Doesn't pull or anything, brakes work fine. This one wheel's got a bit of a boom into it, but doesn't worry me because it doesn't shake or anything. Brakes, suspension, steering, all of that seems fine. Engine runs great. Transmission shifts fine. So yeah, mechanically, don't see any real surprises. I'm going to obviously pull the wheels off and just look at everything just to make sure, but seems to be, I mean, 142,000 miles with a 68,000 mile engine. This thing seems to be sorted. It needs an oil change because it was driven so little that, according to the sticker, it's due for the next oil change 10/14/2021 at 146,000 miles. 2023, and I'm still have 4,000 miles to go to get to that. So I'm going to do an oil change in it, obviously, but that's how little this thing was driven. What the heck is... What did I... There's a thingy. Oh, hearing aid batteries. Empty hearing aid batteries package. Wow, this was an old man car. What else is in here now? I want to... Ha! Old man glasses. The front bumper here is loose. I'm not too worried about that, but I'm going to see if I can get a little more secure. The front parking lights don't come on. When you turn it to the park circuit, nothing lights up in the front. The rear does, but the front doesn't. And then when you turn the headlights on, the headlights work. So it may just be two bulbs that are burned out. It may be some wiring issue, but that's should be a pretty minor thing to fix that. I told you the rear hatches acts up a little bit, but I'm going to temporarily just disconnect that because I rarely lock my cars anyway. This light's a little loose. I'm going to just glue that in so I don't have to worry about it. And this tail light's broken. This will definitely fail inspection, so I got to swing by the junkyard and pick up one of those. And the fender liner on this fender is missing. Probably whatever they hit here, they also tore the fender liner out. So I got to get a fender liner, I got to get a tail light, that'll make it pass. I got to figure out that wiring, that'll make it pass inspection. So given our habit of buying the three-legged dog of cars, see my playlists on the Magnum and the Beatus Prius, this one's pretty good, especially for what I paid for it. I actually, for what I sold the Prius for, I actually was able to pocket some money with this, which means I'll be able to sort those little problems for nothing. I have big plans for this car that are going to involve basically massively modifying it, making it completely unsellable later, but having fun with it. I'm going to wait a little bit on big stuff. I'm going to start doing some little silly stuff, but everything I'm going to do for right now is going to be reversible because I want to drive it long enough to know that I like it. So I ran into that problem with the Magnum. I put a ton of time and money into it and then discovered I didn't like driving it because of the sight lines. So I want to make sure I like this before I put any money into it. This is not replacing the van. It's not replacing the Oldsmobile. This is not anything like that. What it is the station wagon sits, doesn't get used like you saw in the station wagon videos. And it's not useful enough to get used is actually its problem. Because like right now with the van, the station wagon duplicates it, but not as good. It doesn't haul as well. It doesn't have AC, so it's not as nice to drive, that kind of thing. So this is going to be a spare car / winter driver, because I can drive this in the winter and not the van with less worry about rot. And it's going to be another little fun project to distract me from the fact I should be working on the van and the Oldsmobile. But yeah, once I decide I like it, once I decide I'm hanging on to it for a little bit, this thing is going to get seriously fucked with. I'm not giving you any more details because if it doesn't, it's the same plan, basic idea that I had for the Magnum, and that didn't happen. So I don't want to share it yet until I know I'm doing it. For right now, I need to go to the junkyard and pick up some parts for it. So I'm going to cut to me at the scrapyard looking for parts for the Cube. This is the road that supposedly has the Cube in it, but I'm seeing a lack of cubing. There we go. It's hiding back here. Oh, excellent. There's the taillight I need right there. It's got a little crack in it, but it's way better than the one I've got. So I'll take it and then back off. I need this inner fender liner. What else have we got here? Let's see. Oh, white interior, but with a trashed seat. I could use a driver's seat, but this is not an upgrade, especially because it's an airbag seat, so it cost me $90. It does have the armrest, but I don't know if that's swappable. Cruise control controls. I do like the lighter colored dashboard, but I'm not going to buy it for a dashboard. Shame the cover of that is missing. Oh, there's a cover of that. Do I want extra little map lights? I don't know. What else? What else? What else? Let's see. Ooh, I like the chrome door handles. Those are nice. Yeah, the seats and door panels are not good enough to snag. I wonder if mine has that or not. Yeah, anyway, we're gonna tear into this thing some and grab what we can. So I've discovered a problem. I have to get this back door open to get the taillight off. Cubes are known to have a problem where the lock actuator for the back door doesn't work. So the back door ends up staying locked because the doors lock themselves every time you drive over a certain mile per hour. So I can't open this door from the outside. I can't open this door easily from the inside. So literally my only choice is to pry off this inner panel and then just commit utter violence on the latch until I can manage to get it to pop open. Which is stupid, but it's, from all reports, it's the only fucking way. So I'm gonna yank this inner panel off and I'm just gonna go at it until I can get this stupid thing to open. Door open, and since I've already trashed this lock, I want to show you this little lever here. If you can manage to get it, and only it, to move sideways, you actually trip the lock and get the door open. And then you buy another lock because you've really trashed your own pretty effectively. These things are a bad design. I need to figure out now how the heck this taillight comes out. There's 2 bolts here that cover something. There's a pry loose thing. I know it's behind the center cube thing, but I don't actually know beyond that anything about how this is. There's that. Okay. Got another bolt there. Forgotten somewhere. Got the taillight out. After tearing this whole corner apart, I feel a bit foolish because all you have to do is take this thing off, remove this bolt, and then the tail light basically pivots out. It's like caught in that corner as far as all I can tell. Like, it didn't seem to be, or no, okay, there is a plastic thing there, but I couldn't get it out. The thing that's here, I could not get out. The other side of it isn't a 10 and it isn't an 11 as far as fitting a wrench on it. Maybe it's just the shape of the body, but I couldn't get that out. But anyway, I'll be able to, now that I know it's got a fitting here and a fitting there, I'll be able to figure out how to get that out. But that's that. I don't care about this crack because mine's got a like hole in it. So one part down. And wheel liner is free. Basically none of the hardware survived the operation. These little things seem designed to just self-destruct when you try and take them off, but that's okay. I can get more or an equivalent. There were 3 bolts over here, 2 of which snapped and only 1 of which unscrewed, and then some dumb screw things where the heads just, they're plastic headed screws, so they just stripped out. But that's easy enough to replace all of that. And looking at this, I'm definitely glad I'm getting that because, like, that's engine compartment, that's engine compartment. So this is more than just keep it off the metal. It actually is much more vital than in a lot of cars, because most cars have metal here. All right, these are pretty easy to get off. There's a screw here in the grab handle, and on the back ones, there's another screw in this little thing where the hanging knob goes, and then just grab the bottom of the door panel and yank it off. Then you're left with this, and then there's another screw slash bolt here, and once that's off, the whole thing slides back, and then you flip it over, and both cables, you just pull them out of their clip, rotate them 90 degrees, and then they pop out of the handle, and then you're left with this. I'm going to install these, I think, just tan like this, but if you really wanted to, you could drive the pin out, I'm pretty sure, and put them into your gray doors. But I just like the chrome handles better enough that I don't care. If I haven't already showed you this on mine, in the earlier stuff I'm filming later. I love the Ripple headliner. I hate this stupid square light in the middle of it. So if anybody knows of a car that has a dome light with the on-off door switch on it that's circular or even oval, let me know so I can maybe swap that out for something that looks less dumb. All right, so I pulled the 4 door handles. I got the 2 things I actually needed. I think I'm gonna pull that cargo mat out of the back. I think I'm done here. This Cube has been useful, and I know now what else it has, so I can come back once I find more problems on mine, because let's be honest, I'm gonna. All right, and now it's the evening, and this is after the bit that I filmed at the beginning, which I filmed after the bit that I filmed at the yard, at the junkyard. So anyway, the car has been sitting with all its windows open and the back hatch open all day because it said it smells a little bit of wet dog. Got this a chance to mostly dry out. There seems to still be some moisture under this, and it had a mat in it already, so I didn't need to buy a mat. But yeah, the stuff I bought, tail light, that's got to go in. Fender liner is not going to go in right now because I need to get some hardware to put it in with. And I may or may not decide to put the door handles in right now because they're a low priority. But I need to clean the car. The exterior I might get to today, but I need to get the door jamb back here and I start on the interior. So that's where I'm going to be working. I'm going to get a nice bucket of hot water because it's a little chilly out right now. And see all this crap? This all needs to be cleaned out and off. And this thing has just generally been sitting long enough that I don't know how well it shows up on camera, but like there's just like crud, moss, I don't even know what it is, like all in the cracks of stuff. So I want to get all of that out because there's no point in cleaning the car on the exterior if this is still dirty, because that stuff's just going to come out onto the exterior. There's U-bolts on the wiper arms, and I don't know why. I suspect cheap wipers that are falling apart, but we'll find out when next time I have to put new blades on, because I'm not dealing with that right now. All right, so I ran into a problem with this at the yard. It was the thing over here holding this end of the taillight in. I thought it was a bolt that I couldn't get loose. You saw me fight with it at the yard and then eventually yank it off and break something over here. So I was trying to do that again over here. Couldn't get it, figured screw it, pulled on it. The other taillight popped off but left this there, and I pried it out. It's not the fucking bolt. It's actually directly above the bolt. There's this thing that just fits in, and all this does is clip into the end here. So in theory, you should just be able to carefully pull on the tail lamp, and that should maybe pop out. I don't know. It's weird design. But anyway, just wanted to let anybody know so they don't tear half their Cube apart to fight with it for no reason. Alright, so just use the camera to check all my lights, and I'm glad I did because the backup bulb in this new taillight is bad. So, pull that, and fortunately, I have a convenient source for another one. Now I'm gonna go in here and not screw myself over for the future. Which is to say, I need to get this connector disconnected while I believe right now the latch is in the unlocked position. Yep. So since the latch is unlocked, I'm gonna, if I can figure out this dumb connector. Placed in the worst. Oh my god. So the connector is placed right now so that as far as I can tell, the pin to release it, like the part you have to push on, is towards this. Means I can't get my finger in there. But I'm gonna figure out one way or another, because if I unplug this connector, then the central locking can't lock this latch, and so this latch can't get stuck in the locked position, and therefore I don't get screwed with my hatchet being impossible to open and have to be smashed apart like the one I did at the yard. Should have paid more attention. Oh, that's right, I just knocked this connector. I just smashed this connector clean off the yard, so it wouldn't have helped me much. You know what? I can just take the latch off, and I can see what I'm doing. Oh, yeah. Brilliant, Nissan. Let's make it so that it's literally physically impossible to remove the connector while the latch is installed. And this gives me time to not have to stress about it. Now I can do it whenever I get around to it. I so rarely lock my vehicles anyway that this is not a big concern. I will eventually fix it, because having the option to lock your vehicle is good, but the van has one door that is annoying to lock. Hasn't been an issue once, because I haven't left it. I haven't felt the strong need to lock it in a very long time. Even when I was in Philly on vacation, I literally didn't lock it, because in my history, I've lost more money to broken glass than I have to things stolen out of my car. So to me, because I don't keep super valuable stuff in my car, it doesn't make sense to lock it, because then I don't have to stress about the glass getting broken. Because no joke, no exaggeration, I had my car broken into in New York City. They broke a $675 window to steal a squirt gun and a bag of dirty clothes. And the only thing I actually missed was the bag that the clothes were in, because it was one from the 70s of my mom's. And with that, the work for now on the rear is done. I got a taillight that works with all the bulbs that work. This isn't going to get screwed, isn't going to screw me over. So I'm good here. This still needs to dry some more, and obviously I still have to make sure that cleaning this out solves the problem. I don't know if cleaning all the junk out of here is going to be the solution. It seems like it has been on the Prius, but either way, it was gross up there and needed to get cleaned out. So done here for now. I'm going to give, oh yeah, I want to pull these. That was the other thing. I'm not a resident of the center communities of Brookline. So hopefully this shows up properly. This one says the center communities of Brookline, resident parking. This one, center communities of Brookline, resident parking. They forgot a letter in their own name. That's very funny to me. Guess what this connector's for? Rear speaker. And actually, the door panel has the speaker piece in it. It's not a different door panel. I didn't realize. But all I have is a covered up thing. So I think next time I'm at the yard, I'm going to pull those two rear speakers out, plug them in, and see what happens. Because who knows, I might get a 6-speaker sound system out of it. That's cool, huh? Looking forward to that. Also, yeah, I decided to, so I'm in here because I decided, yes, fuck it, I'm going to put these in. And these are actually the fronts. Turns out the fronts and the rears are the same exact part. So I decided just in case there's any wear or anything, any problems, because the fronts have been used more, I'll move them to the back door. So I have the newer ones on the front. And it also meant I had a chance to go in here, and I'm going to do a better job of it, but I gave this a scrub, because this little triangle is part of the body, but the inside of the window opening is square, which is another odd choice on the part of Nissan there. But this means I can get in here and give this a better clean than I could with the door panel on it. It'll also mean I can clean there in the door panel better. So this will just, so now, nice door handle. Now I know what's going on with the speakers, and I'll be able to have this be a nicer, cleaner spot. So yeah, it's going to be worth pulling them all off just for that. All right, for the next part, I'm going to get in here and install the battery. You can even see it, the battery hold down, and see if I can figure out why the running lights don't work. The park lights don't work in the front. And then I think that'll do me for today, because it's pretty damn dark. All right, next morning, because it was way too dark by the time I was done and you couldn't see anything that I was trying to film. All right, got the parking lights working. Turned out to just be two burned out bulbs. They were such an absolute pain to get at, and they were stuck in the housing, they were stuck in the housing, so I'm not surprised that they let the two bulbs burn out, didn't replace them. I put LED bulbs in so I don't have to deal with that again anytime in the near future. If I do change these lights out at some point, I'm going to have to remember to scavenge those, because they're $10 a pop little bulbs. But that works. I put a new wiper on the back, which I remembered I needed to do, but I think forgot to say I needed to buy. So I think at this point it's going to pass inspection. It should be fine. I did notice that the light for the rear plate is hanging a little bit because one of the mounts is rusty, but it works, so I can't imagine they're going to give me too much shit about that. So I think it's ready to pass inspection at this point, which is good. I'm going to get it VIN checked, registered and inspected, and then I'm going to do more with it, because I don't want to, I've already committed a little bit of money to it to get it to this point. I don't want to commit a bunch of money to it until I know it's all legal and good. All right, update. So got it registered, got it inspected, and passed with flying colors, no issues found. So that's all good. So it's all totally legal and settled now. And another thing, when I was talking about the water in the back, it just finished raining like hell for 2 days straight. It's bone dry. So yeah, all that impacted crap up here almost certainly was the cause. The water was sitting up here and getting through into there somehow. But that's great. That means I can put everything back in here and it'll be fine. The carpet padding and everything is now dried out. So awesome. Now I can do the fun stuff to it.